financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic, eliminating debt via Chapter 13 or debt resolution. Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning.
Pat Simasco.
I got a lot of feedback from the last show. When we switched everything to my topic, everyone liked it a lot more than Brian's topic. But I'm just saying, if you want ratings to go up.
Jerry? Yeah, Jerry, come in. We got someone we got to get rid of. Yeah, just grab him from behind. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. What'd you say, Pat?
Great show, and can't wait to hear what Brian's got to say.
All right, back to basics. Chapter 13, debt resolution. Brian, first of all, what is Chapter 13? Give me the short version of key bullet points to Chapter 13.
Chapter 13 is structured reorganization over time, where you repay some or all of your creditors, some or all of the money you owe them over a period of time of 36 to 60 months, depending on which part of the chapter you qualify for.
So when would you do a Chapter 13 versus a Chapter 7?
So a Chapter 13 is 1, if you make too much money; 2, if you don't pass the means test; 3, if you're behind on your mortgage or your property taxes or your automobile and you're trying to keep your house or your automobile, you can restructure your debt. If you're behind to the IRS and those taxes aren't dischargeable, you can repay them over 5 years through a Chapter 13 at no interest.
So Chapter 13 is the one to, if you're making too much money for Chapter 7, you can restructure in Chapter 13, or if you're facing foreclosure, Chapter 13 is the thing that stops the foreclosure.
But you have to file that Chapter 13 before the sheriff's sale. If it's after the sheriff's sale, it's too late.
So if you're facing foreclosure, just so that you know this, you get that posting on your door.
Or you get the notice from the taxing authority saying they're foreclosing your property taxes.
On such and such date. You have to file the case before that date. So don't wait to the day before. You need to take action right away.
How long does it take for you to get your paperwork done? How long ahead of time do they really need to make sure they see you?
Okay, so the answer is, if you came to me today and your foreclosure is tomorrow, I can file the case the day before. If you come to me 2 hours before the foreclosure, I can make it happen if I had to. But we prefer that if you're behind, try to come in sooner, because the sooner you come in, the more opportunity you have, including the fact that if I have enough time, I can get you into a loan modification instead of having you go through a Chapter 13. There are more options to deal with being behind on your house or your property taxes the sooner you come in.
I mean, if you're 3 weeks from foreclosure, you're already at the last minute. Get in, deal with it. Don't wait till 12 hours before the foreclosure, and then what if you call them and it's a Sunday and you can't reach us? So you need to be smart about the whole process. So that's Chapter 13. What I introduced the show, Chapter 13 or debt resolution. What is debt resolution?
So debt resolution is the concept of settling your debts for less than what you owe, quote unquote pennies on the dollar, utilizing what I like to say is utilizing the power of the minimum monthly payment. We utilize the money that you've been paying, which is getting you nowhere on those credit card bills, right?
Right.
I mean, if you pay the minimum monthly payment every month, the bill never goes down. So if we could just set aside that money, somewhere between 12 and 24 months, we're going to have enough money to negotiate all of your credit card debt and settle it out for pennies on the dollar.
Can you negotiate with the student loan debt? Because I think that's going to be
at the moment, there are very few opportunities to negotiate with student loan debt. You have an opportunity, if you have federally backed student loans, to get into an income-based repayment program. You can get into deferments. Right now, there are, coming up shortly, and it will eventually expire, there are no payments on student loans that are federally backed, but that's going to expire in 2022 unless it gets extended.
So one strategy there on the student loans is if you are being forced to pay, you file a Chapter 13 that puts it on the back burner where they're just paying a little tiny bit of it during the course of the plan, or maybe even none. It doesn't discharge the debt, but the thought process is over the next 5 years there's going to be relief on those student loans, so you should take action to avoid having to make those payments.
If you
At a federal level, you think
Yeah, if
that
you-
the
yes.
government's going to
Yeah.
start.
But you can't do anything about those private student loans. There are no independent programs out there. The only program, if you're behind on your private student loans, Chapter 13 allows you to control the debt. So if they want $700 a month and you only have $150 a month, the Chapter 13 allows you to pay $150 a month towards that student loan for the 5-year stretch. And yeah, eventually student loans will be made dischargeable in bankruptcy.
And that'll include private student loans if Congress acts to do it. So the strategy there is you use Chapter 13 to manage the process at the least possible cost to you until we get there. That's a planning decision that you have to come in and we have to evaluate and you have to make. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to be the one who pays the $900 a month on the student loans for the next 5 years, and then on the 61st month, Congress then acts and just says you don't have to make those payments, you can discharge them in bankruptcy. You're going to say, well, can I have back the $60,000 I just paid? What's the answer going to be?
Well, I want my money back that I paid for my
That's the
kids'
thing.
student
Everybody
loan.
wants.
Absolutely.
That's
We all
the
feel
argument
that way.
about.
Yeah.
That's
this
why
whole-
it
Remember we
hasn't
talked
happened yet.
about Roth conversions, how we think tax bracket's going to go way up in the future. See how I figure out a way to roll it back over to me sometime?
Yeah.
Look at that down in the future. If that's going to happen, taxes are going to be a big deal to
You're
pay
raising
for.
the same issue that's been out there the whole time. Is the reason why we haven't gotten there is everyone says, I'm no different. I paid for my kids' college tuition, so why should student loans be dischargeable and all these people who paid for their college with student loans be able to discharge them? There's truth to that the sentiment is true. The question is, how do you solve our nation's problems going forward? Not an easy solution. Take a break. We are going to dig into a case study.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh,
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Welcome back. All right, so we've talked about Chapter 13. We talked about debt resolution. How do you know which one is right for somebody?
So it's a balancing test. If you're facing a foreclosure, the Chapter 13 is going to be the most viable solution because it gives the borrower, the client, the greatest opportunity to save their home. If it's just debt, now it's like credit card debt and an abundance of it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the balancing act and say, all right, which pays less? Who gets less by filing a bankruptcy versus debt resolution? What are the ramifications of that? How long is it going to take? If the average settlement is 40 cents on the dollar for debt resolution, but it would be 5 cents on the dollar through a Chapter 13, we're going to go the Chapter 13.
And their credit score is the same either way, right? So that's what everyone's thinking about.
So either program, after you get involved in it, will show the credit score going up rather than down. And so at the end of the day, the net result is being out of debt the most effective and efficient way at the least cost.
That's the one you want to go.
That's the one you want to go.
Everyone thinks any solution hurts their credit score because the financial industry wants you to believe that. Don't you dare file a Chapter 13. Don't you dare do debt resolution on your credit cards because your credit score will go down. You live in fear of that and say, okay, I'll keep giving them $1,500 a month for the rest of my life, paying 24% interest.
Stealing from your retirement.
I will die with zero money in the bank, a 625 credit score.
15
and
cats.
That's it. Whereas if you get rid of the debt, your credit score dips the moment at the point where you're getting rid of the debt, your credit score is down anyway. If it's not, it may go down a little, and then it comes back up. Credit scores recover quickly.
That's what people need to take from this.
Credit scores recover a lot faster than our economy.
People need to take that away from this conversation because everything, that's all they
just
about. Shut everything off. So, but I'm going to lose my credit score. They got to realize that.
Why do they think that? Because they are being brainwashed by people that have a lot of money that want to continue to have a lot of money. The financial industry says, if I can brainwash America into thinking their credit score is more important than their grade point average, more important than their children going to college, more important than their retirement, then they are going to keep paying me 24% interest for the rest of their lives. I'm going to be rich, and I don't give two hoots about those people.
Can't you just see a flag waving behind Ken's head and the...
but it's a pirate flag.
It's
a pirate flag. That's because I've always patched the pirate.
He's very passionate.
Bill and Julia, case study. Now, before I get in too deeply on Bill and Julia, I remember we did a case study not long ago with a Cassie who had special significance to you, Pat. Am I safe on Julia?
Yeah, that was your waitress at the pancake shop.
Joy.
Oh, it was Joy, you remember.
See, we don't forget
You
these
do
things.
remember your, okay.
Buddy, this was years before I ever met you. Mid-50s, kids in college. Fred and Sam are the kids. Bill is a system designer, makes $125,000 a year, W-2 employee. Julia's an executive assistant. She makes $75,000 a year, W-2. So they're making $200,000 a year. Life should be great. They got a house, $480,000. Mortgage $400,000, so there's $80,000 in equity. Household furnishings $50,000. Bill's 401k $125,000. Julia's $75,000. Cash in the bank $20,000. Liabilities, they got $120,000 in credit cards. $15,000 in medical bills. They borrowed $25,000 from their parents. and they owe taxes from 19 and 20 of $35,000. Their net income, net of taxes, is $13,000 a month, but their mortgage payments $2,700, their credit card payments $3,000 a month.
Let me ask you real quick. Out of that $120,000, how much you think that is actually purchases versus interest that accumulated?
So, realistically,
Yeah.
at 120, they've already maxed out those cards. So every single penny from that day forward is interest.
Yeah, but you think they bought 60 grand worth of stuff?
Well, it depends on whether or not they were having financial problems 3 years
they
ago.
were.
Because they clearly had borrowed a lot of money. But yeah, by the time we're talking here, if you max out your cards, somewhere about 75% in, you stop having spending power and you just have interest accruing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
That's
so
the
it's not
most
even,
expensive
it's not even that they got the
Starbucks.
benefit of the $120,000.
No, that's the point, yeah.
And at
they
that
got
rate,
less.
at that rate, they're in the credit card trap where they're so under budget.
You
that
ain't
they're-
never getting out.
As they pay them down, they're having to draw on it again just to get stable
That's why the
water.
401k is only 125.
So looking at their budget so that you understand why they're so short, because they're making good income, is when you look at these expenses, they've got 2 kids in college, and they're paying $2,000 a month for Fred's tuition and for Sam's tuition to the, between the university fees and room and board. That's killing them. That's putting them, with even on their income, they're $2,200 a month short, but simple put eyes on it. If they weren't paying $3,000 a month on the credit cards, they wouldn't be in a negative situation.
right.
So what do?
These folks need to do debt resolution rather than a Chapter 13.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, they're not behind on the house. They're not behind on the cars. And they want to choose to pay their parents back over other creditors, which you can't really do in a bankruptcy. You can't make that choice. And they want to continue to pay their adult children's college education. So when you
Could they just file a Chapter 7 and just
No,
eliminate?
they make too much money.
Because if they filed a Chapter 7, you pay the fee for filing the Chapter 7 and you pay zero back, right?
Correct, but they make too much money, they don't pass the means test, and they don't qualify for Chapter 7. So these individuals, when we balance Chapter 13 versus Chapter 7, versus debt resolution makes more sense. They have more control over their finances, they are still going to get rid of their debt, and in this case, they would pay back less through debt resolution than a Chapter 13.
I want to take a break. You're going to walk us through that and see where it leaves them in the end, and then we'll wrap up with other issues relating to debt.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation via teleconference, in office. You know, we're COVID smart, but we can do it in the office, or we can do it through Zoom or on the telephone, whatever makes you most comfortable. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up. We cover debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff. Again, just sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Also, go online for our free reports, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Ken Gross and Jeff Linden, Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, and Kirshner Law. Now, back to the show.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so how does the debt resolution work?
All right, so first of all, we look out on the road and we see if we find a bag of money. But since there isn't one, because somebody else picked it up already, we have to create a pool of money to negotiate.
I just have one quick question, and give me a fast answer. Where was the bag left?
I would tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
So the one that picked.
All right, so
What
in their
road,
case,
what road are there regular bags of money on the side?
so
That's for me to know and you to never
so
find
you
out.
find the money to make the payments.
Right, so how you find the money is they've been paying $3,000 a month, right, on these credit cards. Stop paying. Put it in the bank.
But they're negative $2,200 a month in their budget.
Well, we're going to have to do some other budget management
To raise that capital.
to get the money.
We may have to defer a little bit on the college.
I don't know if we have to defer on the college, but
We have a $2,000 a month food budget, and Sam and Fred are away at school.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to create savings.
How much do you spend a month in food?
You know, every time my wife goes, she comes back with bags of $200-300 of groceries.
Food
That's
is not inexpensive right now.
Wait, it's not Kroger's. It's Starbucks. It's DoorDash, right? They don't even drive to the fast food. They get it delivered.
That's why part of the aspect of going through the debt resolution process is that we can do budget management for the client too, to show them where they are wasting money.
You're not a lawyer. You're a counselor and all that. You really are.
Does
You're
say
taking
counselor,
on that
yeah.
role.
How many of you regularly use a food service delivery like
Never.
DoorDash?
Never.
Grubhub?
Never.
I do. I've gotten spoiled from COVID, and like instead of driving to pick up the carryout, I fall into this habit of saying, I don't feel like going outside,
Right.
and I go and I order the food, and then I run up, take a shower while the food's coming or something.
I did it the first time this week because, as you know,
It's a waste
I no
of
longer
money.
have a kitchen thanks
Right.
to water issues. But so I got from a local restaurant burger, French fries, Caesar salad, and
$22.
chicken nuggets. It was $70.
Because of the-
70
Yes.
for just yourself?
No,
Oh yeah. But once you go, yeah.
But you're
it's
probably
basically,
not.
but it was ridiculous.
back-
20 bucks a head.
Wait,
So
this
back to the
wait,
focus.
wait. But
Yeah.
you're probably not 120 grand in credit card debt.
No.
These are the kids and the grandkids are
So
doing.
when you take the minimum monthly payments, you set them aside. You use that money to create a pool of money to negotiate with. We do budget management to help you stop wasting money.
So how does it come out?
It comes out that at the end of the day, we settle the debt, say about 38 cents on the dollar. Let's take that as an average because some are going to get settled at 20, some are going to get settled at 50,
What's
but
it cost you?
9% of the debt, 9.5% of the debt.
So you pay it out over how many months? How long till we're out of debt?
Between
In this
12 and
example.
24 months.
In this example.
In this example, it's 24.
Okay.
Okay,
and
but
then what do you do
now-
about the taxes?
Now I want to point
Jeff?
something out. It's 24 months to get out of debt versus if they do the same thing, they're going to have $3,000 going out every month for the rest of their life.
Perfect point. We see this all the time. The classic example is the client calls us. They've got $200,000 of credit card debt. And we explain the program, they come in, they go over it, they like it, but they're not ready to pull the trigger. They call us again in 6 months.
And they've spent
we
$5,000
chit-chat,
a month
we call
for
it,
those 6
we talk
months.
to them
Why
in
don't
a
they
year,
want to pull the trigger?
And then they pull the trigger. And when they pull the trigger, it works fine, but then they're sitting there saying, why didn't I
do
pull it
it?
a year ago?
Right.
And-
I'd be out of debt a year earlier.
You know, we're
Yeah.
talking about some really big numbers here.
Anxiety.
I want to point out that if you have $10,000 or $20,000 worth of credit card debt and you're making $50,000 a year,
It's
you're
the
in the same credit card
same
trap.
boat.
It's
Worse.
the same problem. Yes, it is worse because you're spending more of your money on credit cards.
What do we do
by
about the
percentage.
taxes?
the taxes are easy. The taxes, we can get you into a 72-month program. It's going to drop your $1,000 payment to under $600, $530.
So there's a solution there on the taxes. Looking up at the screen, their budget after debt resolution goes from negative $22.75 a month to positive $1,200 a month, and they're still covering that $4,000 a month of the college
and
expense.
Fred and Sam are going to graduate summa cum laude.
And you didn't say in the whole show Fred and Sam should get a job. I'm shocked, because once you said that, I was going to say they do have a job. They are working while they're in college, and they are helping cover their costs, because in this world, $2,000 a month is not enough to pay for college. Have a
agree.
great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.